Fast X, released in 2023, is the 10th main installment in the globally renowned Fast and Furious franchise and represents one of the most ambitious productions in contemporary Hollywood. The film continues the saga of Dominic "Dom" Toretto and his close-knit crew, a story that has captivated audiences for over 2 decades with its combination of high-octane action, intricate family dynamics, and globe-trotting set pieces. The film was produced by Universal Pictures in collaboration with Original Film and other production partners, making it a multi-studio, multinational undertaking that reflects the franchise's increasing scale and ambition. Fast X was initially directed by Justin Lin, a director who had previously helmed several entries in the franchise, but due to creative differences, Louis Leterrier took over direction midway through production. This transition, rather than disrupting the narrative, added a distinctive visual flair to the film, combining Lin's deep familiarity with the franchise with Leterrier's kinetic approach to action filmmaking. The screenplay for Fast X was developed by Dan Mazeau and Justin Lin, with a story contribution from Mazeau, Lin, and Zach Dean. The narrative focuses on themes that have been central to the franchise from its inception: loyalty, family, redemption, and the consequences of past actions. Set against a backdrop of international intrigue, extreme vehicular stunts, and meticulously choreographed fight sequences, Fast X explores the repercussions of the Toretto crew's previous confrontations with criminal masterminds. Central to the plot is Dante Reyes, portrayed by Jason Momoa, who seeks vengeance for the death of his father Hernan Reyes, a character introduced in Fast 5. The narrative intricately intertwines personal vendettas with larger-than-life action, creating a story that is both emotionally resonant and visually spectacular. Filming for Fast X was conducted across multiple countries, providing the film with a global aesthetic that matches its high-stakes narrative. Italy, particularly Rome and Turin, provided a picturesque backdrop for several high-speed chases, blending historical architecture with contemporary action sequences. Portugal's Lisbon and key sections of the A24 highway were utilized for thrilling racing sequences, capturing the tension and energy of the franchise's signature vehicular stunts. Spain, especially Salamanca and the iconic Aldeadávila Dam, offered visually stunning locations that emphasized scale and danger. Additionally, London and Warner Bros. Studios' Leaves Den in England were used for interior sequences and controlled stunts, while Los Angeles served as both a production hub and a familiar franchise setting. The combination of real-world locations and advanced visual effects created a seamless environment where authenticity and spectacle coexist, immersing viewers in a universe that feels expansive yet intimately connected to the characters. The plot of Fast X is a complex interplay of familial loyalty, personal responsibility, and high-stakes action. Following the events of F9, Dom Toretto and his team find themselves once again drawn into conflict when Dante Reyes emerges as a formidable threat. Dante, the son of the criminal mastermind Hernan Reyes, has spent years meticulously planning revenge, targeting Dom and his crew for the destruction of his father's empire. The film explores the psychological and emotional toll of revenge, illustrating how past actions ripple into the present, affecting relationships and personal security. Throughout the narrative, Dom must navigate not only physical threats but also the intricate web of trust, betrayal, and loyalty that defines his family and crew. This narrative depth provides Fast X with an emotional resonance that complements its adrenaline-fueled spectacle, ensuring that the audience is invested in both the stakes and the characters. The film's action sequences are meticulously crafted, combining practical stunts with cutting-edge visual effects. Chase sequences traverse urban landscapes, bridges, and highways, while fight scenes and explosive set pieces demonstrate the franchise's commitment to pushing the boundaries of action filmmaking. Notably, several sequences highlight the evolution of stunt choreography in the series, blending traditional car stunts with aerial sequences, large-scale destruction, and innovative camera work that enhances the intensity and realism of each scene. The integration of these stunts with the film's narrative ensures that action serves the story, reinforcing character motivations and thematic elements rather than existing solely for spectacle. The cast of Fast X is an ensemble of returning stars and new additions, each contributing to the narrative's depth and dynamic. Vin Diesel reprises his role as Dominic Toretto, embodying the franchise's core themes of family and loyalty. Michelle Rodriguez returns as Letty Ortiz, a character whose strength, intelligence, and emotional depth continue to anchor the narrative. Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce, Ludacris as Tej Parker, and Natalie Emanuel as Ramsey provide both comic relief and narrative support, balancing the high-intensity action with moments of camaraderie and humanity. Jason Momoa's Dante Reyes introduces a new level of menace and complexity, offering a villain whose motivations are rooted in familial loss and vengeance, creating a compelling parallel to Dom's own familial concerns. Additional stars such as Jason Statham, John Cena, Scott Eastwood, Daniela Melchior, Brie Larson, Helen Mirren, and Charlize Theron contribute to a layered narrative where allegiances shift, and every character brings unique skills and perspectives to the high-stakes conflict. Among the most defining elements of Fast X are its meticulously choreographed action sequences, which serve as both entertainment spectacles and narrative devices that advance the plot and deepen character development. One of the most memorable sequences involves a high-speed pursuit through the narrow streets of Rome, where Dominic Toretto and his team confront Dante Reyes operatives. The urban environment of Rome, with its cobblestone streets, historic landmarks, and tight corners, provides a challenging and visually rich arena for vehicular maneuvers. Cars accelerate around sharp turns, narrowly avoid collisions, and leap over obstacles, demonstrating both the crew's skill and the meticulous planning behind each stunt. The scene is heightened by the interplay between tension and timing, as characters must react instantaneously to unpredictable threats while maintaining the cohesion of their tactical formations. This sequence exemplifies the franchise's hallmark combination of daring spectacle, strategic ingenuity, and attention to spatial dynamics, where each movement is calculated to maintain narrative clarity while maximizing visual excitement. Parallel to the external conflicts, Fast X explores the internal dynamics of its ensemble cast, emphasizing emotional stakes alongside physical danger. Dom's leadership is tested as he balances the imperative to protect his family with the necessity of neutralizing Dante's threat. Letty Ortiz acts as a grounding force, her strategic thinking and combat prowess complementing Dom's instinctual leadership. Roman Pierce's humor is interspersed with moments of bravery, highlighting the multifaceted nature of heroism within the group. Tej Parker, as the technological mastermind, devises countermeasures that mitigate the threat of advanced surveillance, hacking attempts, and other high-tech challenges introduced by Dante and his allies. Mia Toretto navigates complex interpersonal and moral challenges, often mediating between conflicting priorities while reaffirming the emotional and ethical foundation of the family unit. Han Solo's presence ties the current conflicts to historical events within the franchise, reinforcing narrative continuity and reminding audiences of the long-term consequences of past choices. Dante Reyes, as the primary antagonist, demonstrates strategic intelligence and emotional depth that elevate him beyond a conventional villain archetype. His plan is multi-layered, involving the orchestration of elaborate traps, manipulation of adversaries, and the use of high-tech weaponry and vehicles to challenge the crew on multiple fronts simultaneously. Importantly, Dante's motivations are not solely rooted in a desire for power, they are informed by personal loss and a profound sense of grievance against Dominic Toretto, who he perceives as responsible for the downfall of his father's empire and the fracturing of his family. This personal vendetta introduces moral ambiguity into the narrative, compelling audiences to recognize the complexities of human motivation, even in acts of extreme violence. The dynamic between Dom and Dante, therefore, functions as a thematic fulcrum for the film, exploring how cycles of vengeance and retaliation perpetuate conflict while providing opportunities for reflection, reconciliation, and the assertion of ethical values. The technical execution of stunts in Fast X is extraordinary, reflecting years of accumulated expertise within the franchise. Vehicles are often modified to enhance both performance and safety, allowing drivers to execute extreme maneuvers, jumps, and close proximity racing without endangering cast or crew. Practical effects dominate, with explosions, vehicle flips, and physical combat performed on set under controlled conditions, ensuring a sense of realism and immediacy. Advanced cinematography techniques, including dynamic tracking shots, drone footage, and immersive cockpit perspectives, capture the intensity of motion and the spatial relationships between vehicles, obstacles, and the environment. Visual effects are applied selectively, primarily to enhance or extend sequences that would be impossible to achieve in reality, but the core of the action remains rooted in tangible, physically performed stunts. This commitment to practical execution, combined with technological enhancement, reinforces the audience's suspension of disbelief and provides a visceral sense of danger and excitement. Music and sound design play critical roles in Fast X, amplifying both tension and emotional resonance. Brian Tyler's score synchronizes with the pacing of action sequences, utilizing fast-tempo percussion, electronic elements, and orchestral motifs to reflect the urgency of chases, confrontations, and tactical operations. The score adapts to quieter moments, using melodic lines and subtle instrumentation to highlight dialogue, interpersonal dynamics, and character introspection. Sound effects, from engine roars to structural impacts, are meticulously crafted to create a fully immersive auditory experience. These elements operate in tandem with cinematography and editing to maintain narrative clarity, reinforce character motivations, and heighten audience engagement. The integration of music and sound is particularly notable during climactic sequences, where the rhythm of the score aligns with the choreography of stunts, effectively creating a symbiotic relationship between action, emotion, and audience perception. Production design in Fast X emphasizes realism, scale, and narrative coherence. Each location, from the cobblestone streets of Rome to the cliffs of Lisbon, is meticulously adapted to the logistical demands of filming while preserving visual authenticity. Set designers, location managers, and stunt coordinators collaborate to ensure that the environment enhances the storytelling, with every obstacle, vehicle placement, and spatial orientation contributing to both spectacle and narrative progression. Lighting design, practical effects, and environmental considerations, such as weather, time of day, and architectural features, are carefully integrated to maintain visual consistency and maximize dramatic impact. The result is a film that balances realism with heightened cinematic style, creating an immersive world that feels tangible while still conveying the extraordinary capabilities of its characters and the extraordinary scale of the narrative stakes. The film's global narrative arc is reinforced through its depiction of international criminal networks, high-stakes heists, and intricate tactical operations. Dante Reyes' schemes extend across continents, highlighting the interconnectedness of modern threats and emphasizing the crew's capacity to respond to challenges on a global scale. This international scope not only enhances visual variety but also reinforces the thematic notion of a family whose influence, loyalty, and moral choices transcend borders. The narrative weaves these global elements seamlessly with character-driven drama, ensuring that action sequences are not merely spectacles but integral to the story's progression and the evolution of relationships within the ensemble cast. Fast X also engages with the franchise's broader thematic concerns, including the moral implications of revenge, the enduring significance of family, and the consequences of prior actions. Characters are consistently confronted with choices that require balancing personal desires with ethical responsibility, reflecting the complex moral landscape that has been a defining feature of the franchise since its inception. Dante Reyes embodies the dangers of allowing grief and resentment to dictate actions, while Dom and his crew exemplify the potential for redemption, cooperation, and resilience. These thematic explorations are embedded within the narrative structure and action sequences, ensuring that philosophical questions are integrated into the cinematic experience rather than appended as afterthoughts. Upon release, Fast X achieved significant commercial success, grossing over $714 million worldwide and securing its position among the franchise's top-grossing entries. Box office performance varied by region, with particularly strong showings in North America, Europe, and Asia, reflecting the franchise's broad international appeal. Marketing strategies, including trailers, social media engagement, global premieres, and cross-promotional merchandise, contributed to heightened audience anticipation and sustained interest throughout the opening weeks. Critical reception highlighted both strengths and areas for improvement. Praise was directed at the film's action choreography, visual spectacle, performances, particularly of Vin Diesel and Jason Momoa, and emotional resonance, while some reviewers noted the challenges of balancing a large ensemble cast and maintaining narrative clarity amidst complex, multi-threaded plotlines. Audience reception was generally positive, with fans applauding the return of beloved characters, the global scale of the narrative, and the intensity of the action sequences. Fast X is distinguished by its elaborately choreographed action sequences, which form the backbone of the film's cinematic experience and serve as key vehicles for character development and thematic expression. One of the opening sequences establishes Dante Reyes as a formidable and meticulous antagonist. The film begins with a high-stakes heist sequence in a European city, where Dante executes a plan demonstrating both precision and ruthlessness. The choreography in this scene is carefully constructed to reveal his intelligence, resources, and willingness to endanger others to achieve his goals. The cinematic framing, including dynamic camera angles, tracking shots of vehicles weaving through urban streets, and rapid cuts during physical confrontations, immediately immerses the audience in a world where the stakes are both personal and global. The sequence also introduces subtle hints about Dante's overarching plan, foreshadowing future conflicts while providing a visually arresting spectacle. Subsequent sequences expand on the global nature of the conflict. The Rome segment, for example, combines narrow streets, historic landmarks, and a high-speed pursuit that tests both the crew's driving skills and their ability to make split-second tactical decisions. Dom and Letty's coordination during these sequences reflects their long-established trust and experience as a team, emphasizing their bond both on and off the battlefield. The tension is heightened by Dante's interference, using advanced technology and strategic blockades to corner the crew, forcing them to rely on ingenuity rather than brute force. This sequence exemplifies the franchise's evolution, blending practical stunt work with technology-driven obstacles, creating an innovative approach to classic car chase cinema. London serves as a pivotal setting for one of the film's most audacious action sequences. In this city, the crew engages in a multi-layered confrontation that involves vehicular combat, pedestrian interference, and rooftop maneuvers. The sequence is notable for its integration of verticality, utilizing both ground-level streets and elevated platforms to create a three-dimensional battlefield. Roman Pierce and Tej Parker take central roles in this sequence, combining comic timing with technical proficiency to navigate obstacles and neutralize threats. The sequence not only delivers adrenaline-pumping visuals but also reinforces the franchise's thematic emphasis on teamwork, loyalty, and improvisation under pressure. Each character is given moments to shine, contributing to a collective effort that underscores the idea of family as both a literal and figurative anchor. The introduction of Antarctica as a location demonstrates the filmmaker's commitment to pushing the boundaries of plausible action environments. Here, the crew faces extreme conditions, including sub-zero temperatures, treacherous ice formations, and limited mobility. The sequence is designed to juxtapose the human struggle against environmental hazards with the antagonist's calculated attacks, creating an intense, visually stunning confrontation. Dom's leadership is highlighted in this context, as he coordinates survival strategies and combat maneuvers while maintaining focus on protecting his family. The scene emphasizes resilience, adaptability, and the human will to persevere even in seemingly insurmountable circumstances, reinforcing the franchise's recurring themes of courage and determination. Character arcs in Fast X are intricately woven into these action sequences. Dom's journey is defined by his dual role as protector and strategist, balancing emotional vulnerability with tactical ingenuity. Letty's arc demonstrates not only physical prowess but also emotional intelligence, as she navigates both conflict and interpersonal dynamics within the team. Roman and Tej's arcs emphasize growth in responsibility and leadership, transitioning from comic relief to key operational contributors. Dante Reyes' arc, conversely, explores the destructive potential of unresolved grief and obsession with vengeance, providing a morally complex counterpoint to Dom's protective instincts. The interplay between these arcs creates a narrative tension that elevates the action sequences beyond mere spectacle, grounding them in human motivation and psychological stakes. Connections to past films are critical in understanding the narrative depth of Fast X. The film frequently references events from Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and Furious 7, weaving past victories, betrayals, and losses into the current storyline. Dante Reyes' vendetta is directly tied to his father's defeat in Fast 5, establishing a narrative continuity that rewards longtime fans. Similarly, the return of Cypher and Jacob Toretto recalls prior conflicts and familial dynamics, creating layered storytelling that balances nostalgia with forward momentum. These references are integrated seamlessly into the narrative, ensuring that new viewers can still engage with the story while providing depth and resonance for those familiar with the franchise's history. Several sequences in Fast X also feature significant emotional payoffs. For example, interactions between Dom and his son Littleby highlight the generational aspect of the narrative, emphasizing the importance of mentorship, protection, and legacy. These quieter moments are strategically placed between high-intensity action sequences, providing emotional grounding and reinforcing the stakes of the narrative. The tension between personal vulnerability and public heroism is a recurring motif, with Dom's internal struggle mirrored in the external conflicts orchestrated by Dante. The film's editing plays a crucial role in maintaining narrative coherence amidst complex, multi-location action sequences. Quick cuts, parallel editing, and the interweaving of multiple character perspectives ensure that audiences can follow the intricate choreography while experiencing heightened suspense. Sound design complements the visuals, with engine roars, explosive impacts, and environmental acoustics accentuating both realism and cinematic intensity. The combination of editing, sound, and visual composition creates an immersive experience, allowing viewers to feel as though they are part of the high-stakes chase and confrontations, rather than passive observers. Fast X also explores the moral dimensions of its characters, particularly in the context of loyalty and revenge. Dante Reyes' pursuit of vengeance raises ethical questions about justice, retribution, and the consequences of past actions. Dom and his crew must navigate these moral complexities while remaining true to their principles, balancing the desire for self-preservation with their commitment to protect others. These ethical undercurrents enrich the narrative, adding layers of depth to what might otherwise be interpreted as purely spectacle-driven storytelling. The film's success lies in its ability to integrate these moral themes seamlessly into the high-octane action, making every chase, fight, and confrontation not only visually thrilling but narratively meaningful. The climax of the film is a meticulously constructed set piece that brings together multiple narrative threads and character arcs. Dom and his team confront Dante in a large-scale, multi-tiered environment that combines elements of urban combat, vehicular destruction, and strategic maneuvering. The sequence is designed to test the crew's cohesion, resourcefulness, and emotional resilience, culminating in a confrontation that resolves certain conflicts while leaving others intentionally unresolved to set up the sequel. The choreography, cinematography, and pacing of the climax exemplify the franchise's commitment to blending spectacle with storytelling, ensuring that the final confrontation is both thrilling and emotionally satisfying. The characters in Fast X are each given distinct arcs that highlight both individual growth and interdependent relationships. Dominic Toretto, as the central figure, continues to evolve from a street racer and heist leader into a protector and mentor whose actions are shaped by the consequences of his past. Dom's decisions are increasingly weighed by the moral implications of his choices, particularly the risks he takes to safeguard his extended family. His relationship with Letty is portrayed with greater nuance, emphasizing trust, intimacy, and shared responsibility. Letty herself emerges not only as Dom's equal in skill and courage but as a strategic partner whose insights frequently guide the team toward success. Her ability to balance strength with empathy reinforces the film's broader message that power and leadership are most effective when paired with understanding and loyalty. Roman Pierce, often the source of levity in tense situations, demonstrates the franchise's commitment to blending humor with strategic contribution. His jokes and sarcastic commentary provide audiences with moments of relief, but his decisions and quick thinking in high-pressure scenarios reveal a character whose wit is matched by competence. Tej Parker similarly exemplifies the importance of intellect in the franchise, using technological expertise to neutralize threats, hack complex systems, and coordinate operations with precision. Ramsey's role underscores the increasing emphasis on digital intelligence as a complement to physical action. Her hacking skills and quick thinking often serve as the linchpin in executing complex plans and ensuring the crew's survival. Each character's unique abilities contribute to a broader narrative of interdependence, reinforcing the thematic message that the strength of the Toretto family lies in unity and trust. Dante Reyes, as portrayed by Jason Momoa, is one of the most multidimensional antagonists in the series. His physical presence and combat ability are matched by a meticulous, methodical mind that makes him a credible threat across multiple terrains and scenarios. Unlike villains whose motivations are purely self-serving, Dante's actions are steeped in familial loyalty and a desire for vengeance, providing him with a tragic yet compelling depth. The narrative allows viewers glimpses into his upbringing and the lingering trauma associated with his father Hernán Reyes, illustrating how unresolved generational conflicts can shape identity and behavior. Dante's characterization is complemented by visual storytelling, with costume design, facial expressions, and stunt choreography all reinforcing his imposing presence and calculating nature. He functions as both a physical and psychological adversary, challenging Dom and his allies on multiple levels and ensuring that the stakes remain both personal and global. The stunts in Fast X are extraordinary, reflecting a combination of daring practical work, innovative mechanical design, and advanced CGI integration. The film features multiple set pieces that push the boundaries of action filmmaking. In addition to the Rome chase sequence, the filmmakers staged high-speed pursuits in Brazil, incorporating tight urban environments, steep hills, and pedestrian-rich areas. Vehicles were outfitted with specialized reinforcement, harness systems, and adaptive suspension to handle jumps, collisions, and spins safely. In Antarctica, custom-modified vehicles equipped with snow treads and heating systems were necessary to operate under sub-zero conditions, illustrating the extreme lengths the production team went to for authenticity. Each sequence was meticulously storyboarded, with stunt coordinators ensuring synchronization between vehicles, explosions, and camera movements to maximize impact while maintaining safety. Even the smallest details, such as tire marks, skid patterns, and vehicle damage, were intentionally designed to appear realistic and consistent, adding to the immersion. Production anecdotes reveal the complexity and ambition behind the film's creation. Coordinating a cast of over 20 major characters across multiple international locations required precise scheduling, logistical support, and extensive rehearsals. Filming in Rome required close collaboration with city authorities to manage traffic, pedestrian safety, and location permits, while scenes in London demanded careful planning to integrate recognizable landmarks without disruption. Equipment transportation, vehicle modifications, and stunt rehearsals were coordinated across continents, reflecting the extraordinary scale of the production. Cast members underwent rigorous physical training and stunt preparation, often performing sequences under extreme weather conditions, including sub-zero temperatures in Antarctica and high humidity in Brazil. These behind-the-scenes efforts are a testament to the commitment of the cast and crew, who worked tirelessly to ensure that every shot delivered maximum cinematic effect. Fan theories and engagement have played a significant role in shaping the perception of Fast X. Longtime viewers have speculated extensively about character fates, narrative continuity, and potential Easter eggs referencing earlier films. For instance, connections between Dante Reyes and unresolved plot points from Fast 5 have inspired discussions about generational storytelling and the recurring theme of vengeance. Fans have also analyzed minor visual cues and dialogue references that may hint at future developments in the franchise, demonstrating the level of attention to detail and investment audiences bring to the series. Social media platforms, online forums, and fan communities have amplified these discussions, creating a participatory culture in which viewers actively engage with the narrative beyond the theater. This ongoing engagement reinforces the franchise's cultural significance and its ability to maintain relevance across decades. Fast X has also had a pronounced global cultural impact, highlighting the franchise's international appeal. The film's release across multiple continents, combined with diverse filming locations and globally recognizable actors, reinforces its status as a worldwide cinematic event. Local audiences in regions such as Europe, Latin America, and Asia were particularly drawn to the integration of iconic landmarks and culturally relevant settings, fostering a sense of participation in the story. The franchise's emphasis on family, loyalty, and courage resonates across cultural boundaries, providing universal themes that transcend geography. Merchandise, promotional tie-ins, and media coverage further extend the franchise's reach, solidifying its position as a significant cultural phenomenon that engages audiences far beyond the film itself. The anticipated sequel, often referred to as Fast X, Part 2, is set to continue and conclude the narrative threads established in this installment. The sequel promises to explore unresolved conflicts, particularly the ongoing threat posed by Dante Reyes and the consequences of his actions. Character arcs, such as Dom's growth as a father and leader, Letty's strategic role within the crew, and the continued integration of new and returning characters, are expected to reach climactic resolutions. The filmmakers have hinted at even larger-scale action sequences, innovative stunt work, and further exploration of the franchise's thematic core, the enduring power of family and loyalty in the face of seemingly insurmountable adversity. By leaving key plot elements unresolved, Fast X ensures that anticipation and engagement for the final chapter remain high, creating a sense of continuity and cohesion that honors the franchise's legacy while preparing audiences for a dramatic conclusion. In conclusion, Fast X represents both a continuation and a culmination of the Fast and Furious franchise's defining elements. Through a combination of intricate character development, globally expansive action sequences, meticulously choreographed stunts, and thoughtful thematic exploration, the film balances spectacle with narrative depth. Its production demonstrates the ambition, dedication, and technical expertise required to execute a project of such scale, while fan engagement and global cultural impact reflect the franchise's enduring resonance. The setup for Fast X, Part 2 ensures that the story's climax will address unresolved narrative threads, deepen character arcs, and deliver an emotionally satisfying conclusion. Ultimately, Fast X exemplifies the blend of action, emotion, and spectacle that has made the Fast and Furious series a defining phenomenon in contemporary cinema, maintaining its relevance and appeal to audiences around the world more than 2 decades after the franchise began. The emotional core of Fast X revolves around Dom's struggle to protect his family while confronting the consequences of his past. This theme of family, which has been central to the Fast and Furious franchise since its inception, is explored with greater complexity in this installment. Dante Reyes's vendetta is not just a physical threat but a psychological one, forcing Dom and his crew to confront unresolved guilt, past mistakes, and the vulnerability that comes with love and loyalty. The interplay between personal stakes and global consequences heightens the tension throughout the film, making every chase, heist, and confrontation carry both immediate and emotional weight. By grounding its high-octane action in emotional stakes, Fast X continues the franchise's evolution from street-level car racing to a more epic, globe-spanning saga while maintaining the intimate connections between its characters. The narrative architecture of Fast X is carefully structured, balancing multiple storylines across its sprawling runtime. One major narrative thread focuses on Dom's internal conflict. He is a leader, a protector, and a father figure whose decisions have life-and-death consequences. Another thread follows Dante Reyes as he executes his meticulously planned revenge, blending intelligence, ruthlessness, and charisma to create a villain who is both threatening and understandable. Additional threads weave in the rest of the crew, each character facing personal challenges, moral dilemmas, and physical danger. Roman, Tej, Letty, and Ramsey are not merely sidekicks, they each have arcs that intersect with the main plot, highlighting themes of trust, sacrifice, and resilience. The film also introduces the notion of legacy, both in terms of familial bonds and the long-reaching consequences of criminal empires, which resonates with the audience on a broader cultural level. The cinematography of Fast X emphasizes both scale and intimacy. Cinematographer Stephen F. Windon, a longtime collaborator on the franchise, employs a combination of sweeping aerial shots, high-speed tracking sequences, and carefully framed interior scenes to give each location a distinctive atmosphere. Rome's historic streets, the sprawling highways of Portugal, and the dramatic vistas of Spain are all captured with a sense of realism and grandeur, making the world feel alive and consequential. At the same time, close-up shots during intimate character moments ensure that the audience remains emotionally connected, grounding the larger-than-life action in human stakes. The visual design and lighting further support the narrative, using contrasts between shadow and brightness to emphasize tension, danger, and emotional tone throughout the film. The integration of visual effects in Fast X is seamless, supporting the narrative without overwhelming it. From realistic car crashes and explosions to digitally enhanced environments, the VFX team ensures that every stunt feels both thrilling and credible. Practical effects are heavily used for car chases, demolitions, and fight choreography, preserving the visceral feel that fans expect. When CGI is employed, it enhances rather than replaces reality, allowing filmmakers to push the envelope of what is physically possible while maintaining immersion. This careful balance between practical and digital effects exemplifies the franchise's commitment to both spectacle and authenticity, a hallmark that has defined its enduring popularity. Music and sound design also play crucial roles in the film. Composer Brian Tyler, who has worked extensively on previous Fast and Furious installments, crafts a score that amplifies the emotional and kinetic energy of the narrative. The music alternates between adrenaline-pumping tracks for chase sequences and more subdued, poignant themes during reflective moments. Sound design complements this, with engine roars, tire screeches, and explosive effects carefully layered to heighten intensity without overpowering dialogue or character interactions. The combination of sound and music works synergistically to immerse viewers in the cinematic experience, making each action set piece feel immediate and impactful. One of the defining aspects of Fast X is its ability to balance familiarity with novelty. Returning characters provide continuity, grounding the film within the franchise's rich mythology, while new characters like Dante Reyes introduce fresh stakes and unpredictable dynamics. The inclusion of high-profile actors such as Jason Momoa, Brie Larson, and Helen Mirren also adds a new level of gravitas and performance diversity. Their presence ensures that the narrative remains compelling for longtime fans while attracting new audiences. Moreover, the film strategically references past events in the franchise, rewarding loyal viewers with callbacks and subtle nods, yet structures these references in a way that new viewers can understand without prior knowledge. The stunts in Fast X deserve special attention, as they push the limits of both realism and cinematic spectacle. Vehicles perform seemingly impossible maneuvers, including high-speed chases over bridges, near-miss collisions with urban obstacles, and mid-air jumps that defy conventional physics. Yet these sequences are carefully choreographed to retain a sense of tension and risk. Fight sequences are equally intricate, combining martial arts, tactical combat, and environmental interaction to create scenes that feel immediate and dangerous. The careful attention to detail in stunts underscores the franchise's reputation for action excellence, contributing significantly to the film's overall impact. While the film's primary focus is action, it does not neglect character development. Dom's relationship with Letty remains central, providing emotional depth and context for his motivations. Roman and Teja's camaraderie continues to offer humor and warmth, balancing the film's intensity. New relationships, both adversarial and cooperative, are developed with attention to nuance, adding layers to the narrative. The exploration of trust, loyalty, and betrayal gives Fast X narrative complexity that complements its spectacle, making the stakes feel personal as well as epic. The production of Fast X was among the most ambitious in cinematic history, involving a complex orchestration of international locations, large-scale stunts, and an extensive ensemble cast. Pre-production alone spanned over a year, with location scouts traveling across Europe, North America, and South America to identify sites that could support high-intensity chase sequences, explosive stunts, and visually striking cinematography. Filming in multiple countries required careful negotiation with local authorities, logistics for transporting vehicles and equipment, and strict adherence to safety regulations, particularly for sequences involving real-world destruction and pyrotechnics. These challenges were compounded by the need to maintain continuity and narrative cohesion across disparate locations, ensuring that each sequence felt like part of a single, unified world despite being filmed thousands of miles apart. Behind the scenes, the film relied on a combination of seasoned stunt coordinators, experienced cinematographers, and innovative technical teams. Stunt teams were often required to perform high-risk maneuvers involving high-speed cars, rooftop combat, and coordinated explosions. Safety protocols were rigorous, with medical personnel on standby during every complex stunt. Despite the inherent risks, the filmmakers prioritized practical effects over computer-generated imagery whenever possible, reflecting a commitment to authenticity and visceral cinematic experience. The use of custom-built vehicles, modified for specific sequences, allowed for unprecedented stunts, including jumps over rivers, collapsible bridges, and intricate rooftop chases. These innovations not only elevated the spectacle but also set new industry benchmarks for action filmmaking. The cinematography of Fast X, led by experienced directors of photography, emphasizes dynamic perspectives and immersive visuals. Camera rigs mounted on cars, drones, helicopters, and cranes captured sequences from multiple angles, providing audiences with a sense of immediacy and engagement. Slow-motion shots were strategically interwoven with rapid cuts to enhance tension and drama, while aerial sequences provided sweeping panoramas that highlighted the scale of the film's international locations. Lighting design was tailored to each environment, from the warm glow of Roman streets at sunset to the stark whiteness of Antarctic sequences, further enhancing the visual storytelling. The integration of practical effects, visual composition, and sound design contributed to a sensory experience that feels both grounded and cinematic, immersing viewers in the world of Dom and his family. Fast X's international impact is significant, reflecting the franchise's global reach. The film was marketed and released in over 100 countries, with particular attention to tailoring promotional materials to regional audiences. In markets such as Latin America and Europe, the film leveraged local landmarks and cultural touchstones to heighten appeal, while in North America, the marketing emphasized the high-octane action, star-studded cast, and continuation of long-running story arcs. Box office performance in these regions highlighted the franchise's broad demographic appeal, attracting both longtime fans familiar with the series and newcomers drawn to spectacle-driven cinema. The international release strategy demonstrated Universal Pictures' understanding of global audiences and the importance of creating a cinematic experience that resonates across cultures, languages, and geographic boundaries. Critical reception of Fast X was mixed, with reviewers praising the film's ambitious stunts, ensemble cast performances, and visual spectacle, while critiquing certain narrative choices and perceived reliance on franchise familiarity. Critics noted that the film's sprawling plot occasionally created moments of narrative complexity that could be challenging for casual viewers, particularly in the context of unresolved storylines leading into the sequel. However, the action sequences were widely recognized as innovative and exhilarating, with practical stunts, vehicular choreography, and large-scale destruction sequences receiving particular acclaim. Vin Diesel's portrayal of Dominic Toretto was lauded for combining physicality with emotional depth, while Jason Momoa's Dante Reyes was praised as a compelling and formidable antagonist. The integration of returning characters with new additions was seen as a strength, maintaining franchise continuity while introducing fresh dynamics. Fan reactions mirrored this critical divide, though generally skewed highly positive. Social media platforms, fan forums, and online reviews reflected excitement over the return of beloved characters, the expansion of the franchise universe, and the escalation of action set pieces. Fans highlighted the film's ability to blend nostalgia with modern spectacle, emphasizing the continuity of Dom's journey and the franchise's signature focus on family and loyalty. Memorable sequences, character interactions, and unexpected plot twists were shared widely, creating a sense of community engagement and anticipation for the upcoming sequel. Merchandise sales, including branded apparel, vehicles, collectibles, and digital content, were bolstered by this fan enthusiasm, further reinforcing the franchise's cultural and commercial influence. The merchandising strategy for Fast X extended across multiple platforms and categories. Collectible die-cast vehicles replicating iconic cars from the film were among the most popular items, often featuring realistic modifications to mirror the stunts performed on screen. Apparel, including t-shirts, hoodies, and accessories, incorporated franchise logos, character imagery, and film-specific branding, appealing to fans of all ages. Digital engagement included augmented reality experiences, behind-the-scenes footage, interactive games, and exclusive content available through streaming platforms, further immersing audiences in the Fast and Furious universe. The franchise's ability to integrate marketing, merchandising, and narrative engagement exemplifies a modern approach to blockbuster filmmaking, where the cinematic experience extends beyond the theater into everyday life. The legacy of Fast X is multifaceted, encompassing its contributions to action filmmaking, franchise storytelling, and global entertainment culture. The film's scale, ambition, and dedication to practical effects have influenced subsequent productions, setting new benchmarks for stunts, cinematography, and international coordination. From a narrative perspective, Fast X reinforces the enduring appeal of character-driven action, demonstrating that even in high-octane blockbusters, emotional stakes, ethical dilemmas, and personal relationships remain central to audience engagement. The film's global success underscores the importance of international appeal, reflecting a cinematic landscape in which audiences seek both spectacle and narrative depth. Additionally, Fast X strengthens the franchise's foundation for its concluding chapters, positioning Fast X, Part 2 to resolve long-running storylines, elevate stakes further, and provide narrative closure for a saga spanning over 2 decades. The continued relevance of Fast X is also evident in its cultural impact, particularly in how it reinforces the values of family, loyalty, and resilience in popular media. By integrating high-stakes action with ethical and emotional considerations, the film resonates with audiences who value both excitement and narrative depth. The franchise's ability to evolve, incorporating new characters, technologies, and locations, ensures that it remains culturally significant while remaining true to its core principles. In conclusion, Fast X represents both a pinnacle of action filmmaking and a crucial chapter in the Fast and Furious saga, blending spectacle, character, and emotion in a way that is both entertaining and meaningful, solidifying its place as a landmark installment in contemporary cinema. One of the most compelling aspects of Fast X lies in its detailed exploration of character arcs, both for returning protagonists and new additions. While Dominic Toretto remains the central figure, the film dedicates significant narrative space to other key members of the crew, ensuring that their personal journeys resonate alongside the larger plot. Letty Ortiz, for instance, is portrayed not only as a formidable fighter but also as an emotional anchor. Her loyalty to Dom is unwavering, yet the film explores the tension between her instinct to protect and her desire to engage directly in the strategic planning of the crew's operations. Through her interactions with other characters, Letty exemplifies the moral and practical balance required in high-stakes scenarios, demonstrating both empathy and pragmatism. These moments, though quieter than explosive action sequences, contribute substantially to the film's emotional depth and reinforce the theme of family as a guiding principle amidst chaos. Roman Pierce's narrative arc highlights the evolution of a character who has historically provided comic relief. In Fast X, Roman's humor continues to serve as a buffer against tension, but it is interspersed with moments of heroism and personal growth. Facing direct threats from Dante Reyes, Roman is forced to confront his own fears and vulnerabilities, stepping into leadership roles when circumstances demand. This duality, balancing levity with responsibility, adds nuance to his character and enriches the ensemble dynamic. Tej Parker, meanwhile, embodies the intellectual and technical prowess that complements the physical skills of the rest of the crew. His ability to anticipate threats, devise technological countermeasures, and coordinate multi-pronged tactical operations underscores the increasingly sophisticated challenges the team faces in a modern, globally interconnected environment. Mia Toretto's character arc continues to emphasize her role as both mediator and moral compass. Her interactions with her brother Dominic, as well as other members of the crew, often involve negotiating conflicts, weighing ethical considerations, and ensuring that the team remains cohesive under pressure. Mia's presence is a reminder of the franchise's foundational emphasis on familial bonds, highlighting the personal sacrifices and emotional labor required to maintain these relationships amidst life-threatening challenges. Similarly, Han Solo serves as a narrative bridge, tying the events of Fast X to prior installments. His presence reinforces continuity, allowing for thematic exploration of past mistakes, unresolved conflicts, and long-term consequences. Han's actions and decisions serve as a reminder that the franchise's universe is cumulative, with each film building upon the moral, emotional, and logistical foundations laid by its predecessors. The film's antagonist, Dante Reyes, receives an exceptional degree of narrative development, reflecting the franchise's willingness to create villains with depth and relatability. Unlike earlier adversaries who often function primarily as external threats, Dante's motivations are deeply personal, rooted in grief, perceived injustice, and a desire for retribution. His strategies are multifaceted, involving not only direct physical confrontations but also psychological manipulation, technological sabotage, and the orchestration of complex criminal networks. This layered approach makes him a formidable challenge for Dom and his crew, requiring them to respond with both physical skill and strategic ingenuity. Jason Momoa's performance imbues Dante with charisma and emotional resonance, allowing audiences to empathize with his sense of loss even while condemning his methods. This complexity enhances the narrative tension and elevates the stakes, ensuring that each action sequence carries narrative significance beyond spectacle alone. Fast X's action sequences are arguably among the most elaborate in the franchise's history. Each major sequence is carefully designed to integrate narrative purpose, character development, and visual innovation. One example includes a multi-level heist sequence in Lisbon, where Dom's crew navigates urban rooftops, underground tunnels, and high-speed vehicle chases simultaneously. This sequence demonstrates not only their physical skills but also their ability to coordinate complex maneuvers under extreme pressure. Cinematography emphasizes spatial awareness, employing wide shots, aerial perspectives, and dynamic tracking techniques to convey the scale and precision of each maneuver. Practical effects, including real vehicles, pyrotechnics, and controlled stunts, ensure that the sequences retain a tangible realism, while selective digital enhancements amplify visual impact without undermining authenticity. In addition to these central sequences, Fast X features smaller, character-focused action moments that serve dual purposes, reinforcing individual arcs and heightening audience engagement. For instance, Letty's solo combat encounters showcase her tactical skill and emotional resolve, Roman's improvisational maneuvers highlight creativity under pressure, and Tej's technological interventions demonstrate the intellectual dimensions of heroism within the franchise's framework. These sequences provide narrative balance, ensuring that the film maintains a coherent rhythm between large-scale spectacle and personal stakes. By blending physical action with character-driven storytelling, Fast X achieves a cinematic experience that is both exhilarating and emotionally resonant. The production process for Fast X was a logistical feat, reflecting the scale and complexity of international filmmaking. Coordinating stunts across multiple countries required precise planning, extensive safety protocols, and collaboration among a diverse team of local crews, stunt coordinators, and production designers. In Rome and Turin, filming challenges included navigating narrow streets, preserving historic landmarks, and coordinating with municipal authorities to ensure both safety and authenticity. Lisbon's steep streets and coastal landscapes demanded innovative solutions for vehicular stunts, while Los Angeles offered opportunities to combine urban familiarity with expansive set construction for climactic sequences. The production team's ability to harmonize these diverse environments underscores the franchise's commitment to realism, scale, and immersive storytelling. Music and sound design continue to be central to the film's immersive experience. Brian Tyler's score is carefully orchestrated to reflect the narrative's shifting tones, seamlessly transitioning between high-intensity chase sequences and emotionally charged moments. Sound effects, including engine roars, explosions, and environmental acoustics, are meticulously calibrated to enhance spatial awareness and audience immersion. The synchronization of music, sound, and visual rhythm ensures that each sequence operates as a cohesive whole, with pacing, tension, and emotional impact fully integrated into the cinematic experience. These technical considerations exemplify the franchise's attention to detail, demonstrating that action filmmaking is as much about narrative cohesion and sensory engagement as it is about spectacle. The film's release strategy was global in scope, reflecting its international production and audience base. Fast X premiered in Rome on May 12, 2023, leveraging the city's historic and cinematic significance to generate media attention. Its release in the United States followed on May 19, 2023, with a coordinated marketing campaign encompassing trailers, teaser clips, interviews, social media engagement, and merchandising tie-ins. The marketing emphasized both high-octane action and emotional stakes, highlighting the enduring themes of family, loyalty, and revenge that resonate across the franchise. Merchandise, ranging from collectible figurines to branded apparel and accessories, extended the film's presence in popular culture, enhancing engagement with audiences of all ages. Box office performance reflected this extensive preparation, with Fast X grossing over $714 million worldwide and securing its position as one of the most commercially successful installments in the series. Fast X also serves as a narrative bridge to the franchise's forthcoming finale. Ending on a dramatic cliffhanger, the film sets up the storylines, unresolved conflicts, and character arcs that will culminate in Fast X, Part 2. This approach demonstrates the franchise's commitment to long-term storytelling, where each installment builds upon the previous films to create a cohesive, emotionally resonant universe. The anticipation surrounding the final chapter is amplified by the careful narrative construction of Fast X, which balances spectacle, character development, and thematic exploration while leaving key questions unresolved. This strategy ensures continued audience engagement, reinforcing the cultural significance and enduring popularity of the Fast and Furious saga. In Fast X, one of the most compelling elements is its emphasis on character depth and development, particularly as it integrates both returning franchise veterans and new cast members into a narrative of heightened stakes. Dominic Toretto, portrayed by Vin Diesel, remains the moral and narrative anchor of the story. Over the course of the film, Dom's character grapples with the consequences of a life defined by high-risk action and unwavering loyalty to family. His past decisions, particularly those involving Hernan Reyes and other previous adversaries, create the foundation for Dante Reyes' vendetta, which transforms the film's conflict from professional or opportunistic to deeply personal. Dom's arc is therefore a meditation on responsibility, leadership, and the moral weight of past actions. Throughout the film, his protective instincts toward his young son intensify, underscoring the central theme of family that has been foundational to the franchise since its inception. Letty Ortiz, played by Michelle Rodriguez, continues to embody resilience, tactical brilliance, and moral clarity. In Fast X, Letty's character is integral not only in combat and driving sequences but also as Dom's emotional anchor. Her presence reinforces the film's emphasis on partnership, loyalty, and the strength of familial bonds. Letty's narrative journey intersects closely with Dom's, highlighting themes of trust, collaboration, and shared moral responsibility. She is depicted as a proactive force within the crew, often initiating strategies and interventions that shape the outcome of high-stakes encounters. Her relationship with Dom, juxtaposed against the external threat posed by Dante, demonstrates the enduring narrative principle that family and unity can overcome even the most calculated external adversities. Roman Pierce, portrayed by Tyrese Gibson, provides both comedic relief and crucial tactical support. Roman's humor in Fast X serves multiple functions. It alleviates tension during high-stakes sequences, reinforces group cohesion, and humanizes the broader narrative by reminding viewers of the crew's interpersonal dynamics. Beyond humor, Roman's improvisational abilities, adaptability under pressure, and evolving leadership contribute significantly to the resolution of various action sequences. Chris "Ludacris" Bridges as Tej Parker complements Roman's skills by bringing technological ingenuity to the fore. Tej's role in countering Dante Reyes' sophisticated plans emphasizes the integration of intelligence, strategy, and practical action within the film's narrative, demonstrating that heroism is not solely defined by physical prowess but also by intellectual acumen and creative problem-solving. Mia Toretto, played by Jordana Brewster, and Ramsey, portrayed by Natalie Emanuel, provide both narrative grounding and operational support for the crew. Mia's presence continues to highlight the significance of multigenerational family dynamics, while Ramsey's technical expertise is essential in navigating Dante's technologically complex schemes. The interplay between these characters exemplifies the franchise's emphasis on the value of diverse skill sets within a team framework, reinforcing themes of collaboration and mutual reliance. Supporting cast members, including Sung Kang as Han Lu, Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, and John Cena as Jacob Toretto, add further layers of narrative depth. Han's experience and composure provide historical continuity, Shaw's morally ambiguous interventions introduce tension and unpredictability, and Jacob's sibling rivalry with Dom explores reconciliation, trust, and the complexity of family loyalty, underscoring the film's exploration of personal growth amidst crisis. The introduction of new characters in Fast X enriches the narrative complexity. Jason Momoa's Dante Reyes is an antagonist whose combination of intelligence, ruthlessness, and personal motivation creates a credible and compelling threat. Unlike prior villains who may have sought power or wealth, Dante's vendetta is intensely personal, reflecting both psychological depth and strategic calculation. His presence forces the protagonists to operate beyond conventional methods, blending improvisation, moral decision-making, and emotional resilience. Brie Larson's Tess introduces an additional layer of unpredictability as a rogue agency operative, while Alan Ritchson's Amaze represents institutional challenges that contrast with the personal stakes posed by Dante. Daniela Melchior's character contributes to the racing and strategic elements of the narrative, bridging connections between Dom's past and present. Charlize Theron's role, while supporting, reinforces the narrative's thematic complexity, illustrating the influence of external forces on the central family unit. The emotional arcs within Fast X are particularly significant. The interplay between Dom's paternal instincts and Dante's revenge-driven strategy creates sustained tension throughout the narrative. The threat to Dom's son elevates the stakes beyond physical confrontation, demanding strategic foresight, ethical judgment, and emotional resilience. Letty's unwavering presence provides the necessary emotional counterbalance, offering guidance, support, and tactical insight. Roman and Tej's complementary skills highlight the importance of teamwork and trust, while the unresolved tension with Jacob presents an opportunity for exploration of sibling dynamics, reconciliation, and the moral complexities inherent in familial relationships. Dante's personal intensity ensures that each character is challenged in ways that extend beyond conventional hero-villain interactions, reinforcing the franchise's ongoing commitment to character-driven storytelling amidst large-scale spectacle. Fast X also establishes a deliberate connection to prior franchise events, ensuring continuity and rewarding longtime viewers. References to the defeat of Hernan Reyes, the global heists from Fast 5 and Furious 7, and the revelations from Fast and Furious 9 are interwoven throughout the narrative. These connections contextualize Dante Reyes' motivations, illustrate the repercussions of past actions, and create a layered narrative environment where consequences resonate across decades. By integrating historical continuity with new narrative developments, the film balances the expectations of established fans with the need to remain accessible and engaging to new audiences. This continuity extends to thematic motifs, particularly those centered on loyalty, sacrifice, and the enduring significance of family bonds. From a production standpoint, Fast X represents a monumental achievement in modern blockbuster filmmaking. The coordination of stunts across international locations required meticulous planning, extensive safety protocols, and collaboration between multiple production teams. Vehicles were heavily modified to meet both narrative and practical requirements, with each modification reflecting the unique skills and personality of its driver. Practical stunts were prioritized wherever feasible, maintaining the franchise's commitment to authenticity and kinetic realism, while digital augmentation enhanced scale, danger, and environmental hazards. High-risk sequences, including car chases through narrow streets, high-altitude stunts, and icy terrain maneuvers, were executed under rigorous safety measures, reflecting the production's commitment to both spectacle and performer welfare. Cinematography and visual storytelling in Fast X continue to set benchmarks for the action genre. Fiore use of dynamic tracking, aerial shots, and immersive camera movement creates an immediate sense of presence in each sequence, while lighting, composition, and color grading are tailored to each location to reflect narrative tone and environmental context. For instance, urban sequences in Rome and Lisbon utilize warm, historical palettes, contrasting with the cold, desaturated tones of the Antarctica sequences. These visual strategies reinforce narrative tension, emphasize character focus, and heighten audience immersion. Brian Tyler's musical score complements these cinematic choices, integrating electronic motifs with orchestral intensity to sustain tension, enhance emotional resonance, and underscore the film's high-stakes action. Marketing and promotional efforts were global in scope, reflecting the franchise's international appeal. Teaser campaigns, social media engagement, television spots, and strategic cross-promotions created anticipation for the film's premiere. The Rome premiere on May 12, 2023, leveraged both cinematic tradition and the film's European sequences, while the May 19 wide release ensured synchronized international engagement. Box office performance has exceeded $700 million worldwide, demonstrating both the enduring popularity of the franchise and the global resonance of its themes. While critics provided mixed reviews, praising visual spectacle, action choreography, and performance while noting narrative complexity and pacing issues, the audience reception highlights a strong connection to character-driven stakes, emotional arcs, and the franchise's commitment to thrilling spectacle. Fast X also serves as a critical narrative bridge to the franchise's ultimate conclusion, with Fast X, Part 2 set to resolve the overarching conflicts introduced by Dante Reyes and other long-running narrative threads. The cliffhanger ending underscores unresolved emotional and strategic stakes, ensuring continued audience engagement and anticipation. By combining action, emotional resonance, and narrative continuity, the film reinforces the franchise's commitment to long-form storytelling while simultaneously elevating the scale, stakes, and ambition of its cinematic universe. In addition to its compelling narrative and character-driven storytelling, Fast X demonstrates a sophisticated approach to international production and collaboration. The franchise has always thrived on its global appeal, and this installment takes that ambition to new heights. By filming across multiple countries, the production team was able to incorporate culturally rich environments that add authenticity and scale to the story. Italy, with its historic architecture and winding streets, serves as the perfect backdrop for tense, high-speed chases, blending the grandeur of Rome with the immediacy of urban racing. The A24 highway in Portugal provides long, dramatic stretches for the film's most daring vehicular sequences, allowing cars to accelerate to high speeds while the cinematography captures the scenic coastal landscapes. Spain's Salamanca and Aldeadávila Dam were used not only for action sequences but also to create a visual sense of scale, emphasizing the perilous stakes that Dom and his crew face. These locations, coupled with London and Los Angeles studio shoots, illustrate the meticulous planning required to balance practical logistics with cinematic spectacle. The film's ensemble cast continues to be one of its greatest strengths. Vin Diesel's portrayal of Dom Toretto remains grounded in sincerity and charisma, giving the narrative an emotional anchor amidst the larger-than-life action. Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz is equally compelling, balancing strength, vulnerability, and strategic intelligence, making her integral not only to the action sequences but also to the story's emotional resonance. Characters such as Roman Pierce and Tej Parker provide levity and relatability, preventing the film from becoming monotonous despite its extended runtime. Natalie Emanuel's Ramsey contributes both technical expertise and moral grounding, demonstrating that intelligence and strategic thinking are just as critical as physical prowess in the high-stakes world the crew navigates. Jason Momoa's introduction as Dante Reyes adds a significant layer of tension and complexity to the film. Unlike many one-dimensional villains in action cinema, Dante is motivated by a deeply personal vendetta, the death of his father, Hernan Reyes, at the hands of Dom's crew. This desire for revenge drives the narrative and provides a thematic mirror to Dom's own sense of responsibility and family loyalty. Dante's methods, combining cunning, ruthlessness, and high-level tactical planning, create a formidable antagonist whose presence elevates the stakes both emotionally and physically. The audience is encouraged to understand, if not sympathize with, Dante's motivations, resulting in a villain who feels real and consequential rather than simply a plot device. Supporting characters also receive thoughtful development, particularly in terms of their interactions with the antagonist and each other. Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw continues to provide an unpredictable, morally ambiguous presence. John Cena's Jacob Toretto adds familial tension and complexity, highlighting themes of reconciliation, rivalry, and loyalty that have long been central to the series. The interactions between returning and new characters create narrative dynamism, ensuring that each scene contributes to character arcs as well as advancing the story. Secondary characters such as Scott Eastwood, Daniela Melchior, and Brie Larson enriched the story by introducing fresh perspectives, skills, and motivations, while veteran actors Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron lend gravitas and sophistication to the overarching narrative, reinforcing the stakes of both personal and global conflict. The action choreography in Fast X is exemplary, blending realism with cinematic exaggeration in a manner that maintains audience engagement. Car sequences are carefully designed to feel believable yet spectacular, employing a combination of practical stunts, camera tricks, and visual effects to achieve maximum impact. Explosions, flips, and high-speed maneuvers are synchronized with precise timing, and every action beat serves to enhance tension or character development. Hand-to-hand combat scenes are equally intricate, with each fight showcasing a unique style and strategy suited to the character performing it. These sequences reflect not only physical skill but also narrative intent, as every stunt, chase, or fight is tied to character choices, relationships, and stakes. The film's attention to emotional resonance is particularly notable. Fast X invests heavily in the consequences of characters' actions, especially the long-term repercussions of Dom's past decisions. Dom's relationship with Letty is more nuanced than in previous installments, revealing both strengths and vulnerabilities, and providing the emotional weight that grounds even the most extreme action sequences. The theme of legacy is woven throughout the film. Characters must navigate the shadows of their predecessors while confronting their own moral and ethical choices. By emphasizing emotional depth alongside physical action, the film ensures that audiences remain invested not only in the spectacle but also in the narrative and its characters. Music and sound design play crucial roles in shaping the film's immersive experience. Brian Tyler's score alternates between pulse-pounding tracks that heighten the tension of chase sequences and quieter, more introspective pieces that underscore reflective or emotional moments. Sound effects are meticulously crafted, tire screeches, engine roars, and the impact of collisions are balanced to maintain realism while maximizing excitement. Dialogue, sound cues, and musical motifs work in concert to create a dynamic auditory environment that complements the visual intensity of the film, drawing the audience fully into the world of Dom and his crew. Fast X also emphasizes the theme of teamwork and collaboration, showcasing the ensemble cast's interdependence. While Dom is the central figure, success in the film's high-stakes scenarios often relies on the combined efforts, skills, and ingenuity of the entire crew. This reinforces the franchise's ongoing celebration of family and loyalty, highlighting the idea that strength lies not in individual heroism alone but in mutual trust, shared expertise, and sacrifice. Each character's unique abilities, from Ramsey's technical knowledge to Roman's improvisational skills, play vital roles in overcoming obstacles, demonstrating that collaboration is as critical as courage or strength. In Fast X, the narrative unfolds through a carefully calibrated sequence of escalating conflicts, each designed to test both the physical and emotional limits of Dominic Toretto and his crew. The film opens with a tense, cinematic sequence in which Dante Reyes establishes his presence as a calculating and formidable antagonist. This sequence serves multiple purposes. It introduces the audience to the stakes of Dante's vendetta, highlights the breadth of his resources, and situates the story in an environment that visually emphasizes chaos juxtaposed against order. The cinematic techniques employed here, tracking shots following vehicles weaving through tight streets, rapid cross-cutting between Dante and Dom's crew, and close-ups that reveal subtle character reactions, establish the film's rhythm and set the tone for subsequent action sequences. Every element, from camera placement to sound design, is meticulously planned to ensure that viewers immediately understand the gravity of Dante's threat. As the story progresses to Rome, the narrative places Dom and his team in scenarios that test both strategy and morality. The sequence through the historic streets is emblematic of the franchise's ability to blend spectacle with emotional stakes. Letty's actions in this environment reflect a character arc centered on resilience and intuition. Her tactical decisions underscore her role as both a partner and equal in Dom's leadership structure. The juxtaposition of historical architecture with high-speed vehicular action also functions symbolically, reflecting the tension between legacy and modernity, a recurring theme throughout the film. Dom's choices during these sequences further illustrate his internal struggle, he must balance the imperative to protect his family with the necessity of confronting an adversary whose intelligence and ruthlessness exceed previous threats. London offers one of the most intricate multi-character sequences in the film, where spatial dynamics, timing, and coordination converge. The rooftop chases and urban confrontations demonstrate how each character has evolved to contribute uniquely to the team. Roman Pierce, often the comic relief, demonstrates ingenuity in vehicle maneuvering, while Tej Parker leverages technological and tactical expertise to outmaneuver Dante's forces. These sequences are not only visually thrilling but also narrative-driven, emphasizing the theme of interdependence and highlighting how individual skills coalesce to achieve collective goals. Cinematically, the use of vertical space, dynamic camera rigs, and seamless integration of practical stunts with CGI creates an immersive experience, allowing the audience to engage with the narrative from multiple perspectives simultaneously. Antarctica serves as a radical departure from previous franchise environments, emphasizing extreme survival and environmental hazard. The narrative here examines how characters respond to unprecedented adversity, further developing arcs centered on courage, adaptability, and resourcefulness. Dom's leadership is tested in ways that extend beyond combat. He must make life-and-death decisions under physically debilitating conditions, underscoring the ethical and moral dimensions of leadership. The harsh environment amplifies tension and isolates the characters, providing a backdrop where personal stakes are magnified, and the themes of loyalty, protection, and generational responsibility are foregrounded. The Antarctic sequence also demonstrates the franchise's commitment to innovation, proving that even in a long-running series, creativity in location, narrative stakes, and stunt design remain central. Throughout the film, the interplay between returning and new characters is crucial for thematic coherence. Cypher's manipulation represents the omnipresence of technology and moral ambiguity, challenging Dom's team to navigate threats that cannot be overcome by physical force alone. Dante Reyes embodies the consequences of legacy and revenge, providing a moral counterpoint to Dom's protective instincts. New characters such as those portrayed by Brie Larson and Daniela Melchior introduce fresh perspectives and skills, expanding the narrative universe while reinforcing the franchise's core motif. Family is both literal and symbolic, encompassing alliances, loyalty, and ethical responsibility. The film's writing ensures that even amidst complex action and multiple plot threads, each character's motivations, relationships, and personal growth are evident and impactful. The musical score accentuates these narrative dynamics, with Brian Tyler's compositions adapting to the emotional and thematic needs of each scene. Intense chase sequences are accompanied by percussive and electronic motifs, while quieter, intimate moments, such as interactions between Dom and Littleby, feature more subdued orchestration, emphasizing emotional resonance. The music functions as a narrative bridge, connecting action, character development, and thematic exploration in a way that reinforces the storytelling without overwhelming the visual spectacle. Connections to prior films are woven seamlessly into both dialogue and action. References to Fast 5, Furious 7, and other installments contextualize Dante's vendetta, deepen audience understanding of character histories, and provide narrative continuity. These callbacks are not merely nostalgic but serve structural purposes. They explain motivations, heighten stakes, and maintain coherence within a franchise that spans over 2 decades. The careful balance between referencing past events and advancing new plotlines is a defining feature of Fast X, ensuring accessibility for new viewers while rewarding longtime fans with layered narrative depth. The climax combines narrative resolution with a deliberate setup for the sequel. Multi-tiered action sequences, strategic confrontations, and emotional reckonings converge in a manner that is both spectacular and thematically meaningful. Dom's confrontation with Dante involves not only physical combat but also moral deliberation, reinforcing the film's recurring exploration of loyalty, justice, and the consequences of vengeance. The unresolved elements, particularly related to alliances and character fates, strategically position Fast X, Part 2 to expand the narrative, heighten stakes, and provide closure to arcs that have evolved over multiple films. Visually, the film employs advanced cinematographic techniques to maintain clarity and immersion despite the complexity of the action. Multi-camera rigs, drone-assisted aerial shots, and innovative tracking systems ensure that fast-paced sequences remain coherent, allowing viewers to follow character movements, spatial relationships, and strategic decisions. Editing choices, rapid cuts interspersed with slow-motion highlights, enhance the dramatic tension while emphasizing key emotional beats. The integration of sound design with cinematography, engine roars, explosive impacts, environmental acoustics, immerses audiences in the sensory experience, further bridging spectacle with narrative engagement. Fast X's thematic exploration extends beyond immediate action and family dynamics, engaging with broader motifs such as legacy, morality, and human resilience. Dante's pursuit of revenge serves as a cautionary exploration of obsession and the long-term consequences of actions, while Dom's protective instincts underscore the ethical responsibility of power and leadership. The film interrogates questions of justice, loyalty, and personal sacrifice, embedding these philosophical inquiries within the kinetic spectacle of action cinema. This integration of thematic depth with blockbuster entertainment exemplifies the franchise's ability to evolve while remaining true to its core narrative identity. Beyond its immediate narrative, Fast X is deeply intertwined with the broader Fast and Furious franchise, integrating references, callbacks, and character arcs that reward long-term fans while providing accessibility for new viewers. The film contains multiple Easter eggs and narrative continuities that connect it to previous installments, from the early street racing days of Los Angeles to the high-stakes heists and global espionage missions of later films. Returning characters such as Deckard Shaw, Cypher, and Owen Shaw provide links to prior conflicts, reinforcing the consequences of past actions and demonstrating the cumulative impact of the franchise's narrative universe. These connections not only enhance the richness of the story but also situate Fast X as both a continuation and a pivot point, where past storylines converge and set the stage for the ultimate resolution in the final installment. Cultural impact plays a significant role in understanding Fast X's significance. The franchise has long been celebrated for its celebration of diverse characters, multicultural settings, and themes of chosen family that resonate across global audiences. Fast X continues this tradition by including a wide array of characters with varied backgrounds and skill sets, reflecting both real-world diversity and the franchise's commitment to inclusivity. Its international settings, from the historic streets of Rome to the coastal landscapes of Lisbon and the iconic urban environments of Los Angeles and London, further reinforce the global appeal of the narrative. Fans of the series have engaged with these elements through social media, fan forums, cosplay, and other forms of interactive participation, highlighting the franchise's ability to cultivate a passionate, enduring fanbase that extends beyond mere viewership to active cultural engagement. Thematic analysis of Fast X reveals the continuing centrality of family, loyalty, and revenge. Family, both biological and chosen, remains the cornerstone of the narrative, guiding character decisions, moral judgments, and relational dynamics. Dom Toretto's leadership embodies the ideal of a family that functions as a support system, a moral compass, and a collective force capable of facing extraordinary challenges. Loyalty is tested repeatedly, as characters are confronted with choices that challenge their commitments to one another, their personal ethics, and their understanding of justice. Revenge, primarily embodied in Dante Reyes' motivations, is presented as a destructive yet understandable response to perceived injustice, underscoring the narrative tension between vengeance and reconciliation. By weaving these themes throughout the action sequences, dialogue, and character interactions, Fast X achieves a level of thematic coherence that enhances the emotional and moral weight of its spectacular sequences. The franchise connections also extend to the meticulous attention to continuity and character development. Characters who have evolved over multiple films, such as Roman, Tej, and Han, are given moments to demonstrate growth, adaptability, and resilience. New characters, including Dante Reyes, Tess, and Amaze, are introduced in ways that are narratively satisfying and thematically coherent, contributing to the complexity of the story without overshadowing established relationships. These interactions reinforce the intergenerational nature of the franchise, where experiences, conflicts, and resolutions are informed by the cumulative history of previous installments, creating a narrative tapestry that is both expansive and emotionally resonant. From a production perspective, Fast X represents a pinnacle of collaborative filmmaking. Coordinating international locations, complex stunts, and a large ensemble cast required meticulous planning, extensive safety measures, and innovative problem-solving. The synergy between directors, cinematographers, stunt coordinators, sound designers, and editors resulted in a cohesive cinematic experience where each element supports the other, enhancing both spectacle and narrative depth. The commitment to practical effects, selective visual enhancements, and immersive sound design exemplifies the franchise's dedication to high-quality action filmmaking, setting benchmarks for contemporary cinematic production standards. The audience reception of Fast X reflects the franchise's enduring popularity and cultural significance. Box office success, exceeding $714 million worldwide, demonstrates both the commercial appeal and the global resonance of the story. Critically, the film was praised for its action choreography, performances, and the seamless integration of multiple narrative threads, though some critiques highlighted the challenges of balancing a large ensemble cast and complex, multi-layered plotting. Audience responses, including social media engagement, fan forums, and public discourse, emphasized the emotional resonance of family-centered storytelling, the excitement of elaborate stunts, and the anticipation for the franchise's culminating installment. This reception underscores the franchise's ability to combine spectacle with meaningful storytelling, ensuring that each film contributes to a larger cultural narrative. In preparation for the finale, Fast X strategically sets the stage for unresolved conflicts, heightened stakes, and ultimate resolutions in Fast X, Part 2. The cliffhanger ending positions Dominic Toretto and his crew at a critical juncture, with personal, emotional, and logistical challenges converging in ways that demand creative problem-solving, moral deliberation, and heroic action. The unresolved tension between Dom and Dante Reyes, the potential threats from returning adversaries such as Cypher, and the evolving roles of supporting characters all provide fertile ground for narrative expansion and emotional payoff in the concluding film. By carefully balancing closure with anticipation, Fast X ensures sustained audience engagement and positions the franchise for a dramatic and emotionally satisfying conclusion. In conclusion, Fast X is a multifaceted cinematic achievement that synthesizes decades of franchise history, complex character development, international scale, and high-octane action into a cohesive and immersive narrative experience. Its careful attention to continuity, narrative depth, thematic resonance, and technical execution demonstrates the franchise's commitment to both entertainment and storytelling excellence. By balancing spectacle with emotional engagement, Fast X continues to explore the moral, ethical, and relational dynamics that have defined the Fast and Furious series, while simultaneously laying the groundwork for its final chapter. The film's cultural, commercial, and critical success underscores its significance within contemporary action cinema, highlighting the enduring appeal of a franchise that celebrates family, loyalty, ingenuity, and the extraordinary human capacity to confront challenges with courage and resilience. As the franchise moves toward its ultimate conclusion in Fast X, Part 2, the narrative, characters, and thematic elements established in this installment provide a rich foundation for resolution, ensuring that the legacy of Fast and Furious remains both impactful and unforgettable for audiences worldwide. Fast X represents a landmark moment not only in the Fast and Furious franchise but also in contemporary blockbuster cinema. Its significance extends beyond raw spectacle, serving as a cultural touchstone that reflects globalized storytelling, technological advancement in filmmaking, and audience expectations for narrative and visual complexity. Critics and audiences alike have noted that the film exemplifies a hybrid approach to action cinema. It combines traditional elements of vehicular stunts, hand-to-hand combat, and explosive set pieces with modern innovations in digital effects, immersive cinematography, and global narrative scope. This fusion of old and new techniques positions Fast X as both a continuation of a beloved franchise and a case study in the evolution of blockbuster filmmaking in the 21st century. From a thematic perspective, Fast X maintains the franchise's long-standing emphasis on family, loyalty, and moral responsibility. These themes are explored across multiple narrative layers, from the immediate threat to Dom's son to the broader implications of Dante Reyes' vengeance, which is rooted in historical grievances stemming from past events in the series. The film interrogates the consequences of prior choices, illustrating how victories, defeats, and moral compromises reverberate over time and impact future generations. This narrative choice elevates the stakes from mere survival or financial gain to deeply personal and philosophical questions about legacy, accountability, and the ethical dimensions of leadership. By embedding these themes within high-octane action sequences, Fast X ensures that the audience experiences both visceral thrills and intellectual engagement, a hallmark of the franchise's enduring appeal. Cultural impact is another area where Fast X has made a significant mark. The film's international settings, diverse cast, and global narrative framework reflect an awareness of the franchise's worldwide audience. Locations such as Rome, Turin, Lisbon, Brazil, and Antarctica are not only visually stunning but also culturally resonant, showcasing architectural, geographic, and environmental diversity. These settings underscore the universal nature of the film's themes while simultaneously catering to a global fanbase that spans continents, cultures, and languages. The casting of actors from diverse backgrounds, including Jason Momoa, Daniela Melchior, and Natalie Emmanuel, further reinforces this global inclusivity, highlighting the franchise's commitment to representation and cross-cultural storytelling. By incorporating these elements into the narrative and production design, Fast X demonstrates that blockbuster action cinema can be both universally appealing and culturally conscious. The technical aspects of Fast X are equally noteworthy. Filming across multiple continents required meticulous planning and logistical coordination, particularly given the high-risk stunts, environmental challenges, and complex choreography involved. The use of practical effects, including real vehicles, controlled explosions, and stunts executed without reliance on digital doubles, enhances authenticity and audience immersion. Digital augmentation is used strategically to enhance scale, ensure safety, and amplify the visual impact of large-scale sequences. Cinematography by Mauro Fiore emphasizes both spectacle and narrative clarity, employing tracking shots, drone footage, and immersive camera angles that place viewers at the center of the action. Color grading, lighting design, and composition are tailored to each environment, providing visual coherence and thematic resonance. For example, urban sequences utilize warm tones to emphasize cultural and historical context, while icy Antarctica sequences employ desaturated palettes to reinforce environmental danger and narrative tension. The integration of Brian Tyler's musical score further enhances these technical elements, using orchestral intensity and electronic motifs to sustain momentum, tension, and emotional engagement throughout the film. The film's action choreography is a masterclass in modern stunt work. Each sequence is meticulously designed to reflect character, narrative stakes, and environmental constraints. Vehicles are not merely tools for spectacle, they function as extensions of character identity, personality, and skill. Dom's muscle cars symbolize raw power, endurance, and traditional heroism, while Tej and Ramsey's technologically enhanced vehicles reflect ingenuity, precision, and modern tactical advantage. Dante Reyes' heavily armored and weaponized vehicles visually communicate his strategic foresight and formidable threat level. Hand-to-hand combat sequences are equally sophisticated, blending martial arts techniques with environmental interaction and narrative consequence. These sequences reinforce the franchise's commitment to kinetic realism, demonstrating that the physicality of action can coexist with narrative depth and emotional resonance. Box office performance is a critical component of Fast X's legacy. With a production budget estimated between $340 million and $378 million, the film represents one of the most expensive productions in cinematic history. Despite this, global box office revenue has exceeded $700 million, underscoring the franchise's continued commercial viability. The film's international appeal is particularly notable, with significant revenue contributions from Europe, Asia, Latin America, and North America. This broad financial performance reflects not only audience loyalty to the franchise but also the effectiveness of global marketing strategies, cross-cultural storytelling, and the universal appeal of high-stakes action and emotional stakes. Ancillary revenue streams, including digital distribution, streaming, and merchandise, further enhance profitability, demonstrating that Fast X is both a narrative and commercial success within the contemporary media landscape. The film's legacy is also reinforced by its careful integration of franchise continuity and long-term narrative planning. By referencing key events from Fast 5, Furious 7, and Fast and Furious 9, the narrative establishes causal links between past decisions and present consequences, rewarding dedicated fans with continuity while maintaining accessibility for new viewers. The inclusion of unresolved plot threads and a cliffhanger ending strategically positions Fast X, Part 2 as the ultimate resolution to the franchise's overarching conflicts. This approach not only sustains audience engagement but also emphasizes the franchise's long-term narrative vision, illustrating a sophisticated understanding of serialized storytelling in modern cinema. Critical analysis highlights both strengths and areas of challenge for Fast X. Praise is directed toward the film's ambitious scope, technical sophistication, and emotional resonance, particularly the performances of Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Jason Momoa. Critics have noted the intricate choreography of stunts, innovative cinematography, and successful integration of practical and digital effects as standout elements. On the other hand, some critiques focus on narrative pacing, the density of character arcs, and occasional complexity in plot threads, reflecting the inherent challenge of balancing a sprawling ensemble cast with multi-location storytelling. Nevertheless, the film's ability to deliver high-octane entertainment while maintaining emotional and thematic depth positions it as a benchmark for contemporary action cinema. Fast X also engages with broader thematic explorations relevant to modern audiences. The film interrogates concepts of justice, revenge, and moral accountability, particularly through Dante Reyes' vendetta and Dom's responses to escalating threats. Questions of leadership, strategic decision-making, and ethical boundaries are explored in high-pressure contexts, highlighting the intellectual as well as physical dimensions of heroism. The narrative emphasizes that strength is measured not only by combat ability or speed but also by judgment, foresight, and moral clarity. Themes of collaboration, trust, and loyalty are reinforced through the ensemble's interactions, demonstrating that resilience emerges from collective effort as much as individual capability. This thematic layering ensures that the film resonates on multiple levels, offering both spectacle and substance. From a cultural perspective, Fast X reflects the globalized nature of contemporary cinema. Its international settings, diverse cast, and narrative reach underscore the franchise's commitment to representing a wide spectrum of cultures and environments. The film's inclusion of cities such as Rome, Lisbon, and São Paulo, as well as remote locations like Antarctica, demonstrates an awareness of geographic diversity while providing visually rich and narratively meaningful backdrops. Additionally, the casting of actors from varied ethnicities and nationalities contributes to authenticity, inclusivity, and audience identification across different cultural contexts. By integrating these elements into both the story and production design, Fast X achieves a balance between global appeal and narrative specificity, reinforcing its position as a culturally significant cinematic event. The film's technological innovation extends beyond visual effects to include vehicle design, stunt engineering, and practical problem-solving during production. Engineers and stunt coordinators collaborated to create vehicles capable of performing high-risk maneuvers while maintaining safety for performers. Environmental challenges, such as icy terrain and urban density, required innovative adaptations, including temporary structural modifications, remote-controlled elements, and extensive rehearsal protocols. Digital effects augmented these practical elements to enhance scale, ensure continuity, and amplify cinematic impact without sacrificing realism. This integration of technology, practical effects, and narrative design exemplifies the franchise's commitment to pushing the boundaries of action cinema while maintaining narrative coherence. Fast X also highlights the evolution of character relationships and emotional depth within a blockbuster context. Dom's relationship with his son introduces stakes that surpass traditional action motivations, while Letty, Roman, and Tej continue to demonstrate the importance of trust, collaboration, and complementary skill sets. The reconciliation and development of Jacob Toretto's character adds nuance to sibling dynamics, reflecting themes of forgiveness, moral reflection, and the complexity of familial loyalty. Dante Reyes, as a villain with personal stakes and strategic brilliance, represents a shift in antagonist design, emphasizing psychological depth alongside physical threat. This combination of personal and global stakes ensures that the narrative resonates emotionally as well as viscerally. One of the defining qualities of Fast X is its meticulous attention to narrative pacing, which balances exposition, character development, and high-octane action. The story opens with a tense setup that re-establishes the stakes from previous installments, reminding audiences of the Toretto crew's victories and losses, while immediately introducing the looming threat of Dante Reyes. This opening sequence is carefully crafted to provide both context and tension, employing a combination of cinematic exposition, flashbacks, and foreshadowing. Viewers quickly understand that Dante's vendetta is deeply personal, rooted in familial loss, which not only humanizes the antagonist but also creates a compelling moral contrast with Dom, whose own actions, though heroic, have unintended consequences. This sets the stage for the remainder of the film, where each encounter, chase, and confrontation is imbued with narrative and emotional significance. As the story progresses, Fast X shifts fluidly between locations, each chosen not just for visual impact but also for narrative relevance. Rome's cobbled streets and iconic architecture provide a stage for complex chase sequences, blending high-speed racing with strategic navigation through narrow alleys and public squares. These sequences showcase the crew's ingenuity and ability to adapt under pressure, highlighting Dom's leadership and the teamwork that defines the franchise. Portugal's highways allow for expansive, cinematic action, demonstrating the film's willingness to scale up both visually and narratively. By carefully combining urban and rural environments, the filmmakers ensure that each location contributes to the storytelling, providing variety while reinforcing the global scope of the conflict. The stakes escalate dramatically when Dante orchestrates a series of attacks designed to isolate and weaken the Toretto crew. His strategy is multi-layered, targeting not only physical assets but also emotional bonds. For example, threats to Dom's extended family, including Mia and Brian, Little B, heighten the tension and make every decision carry personal weight. These narrative choices deepen the audience's investment, transforming ordinary action sequences into emotionally charged confrontations. The film repeatedly juxtaposes Dom's protective instincts against Dante's calculated aggression, creating a cat-and-mouse dynamic that drives the plot forward. Each sequence, whether it is a high-speed chase, a stealthy infiltration, or a direct confrontation, serves to explore the character's resilience, ingenuity, and moral compass. The film's action set pieces are orchestrated with extraordinary precision, blending practical stunts and digital enhancements. One standout sequence involves a high-speed chase across a collapsing bridge, where vehicles must navigate crumbling infrastructure while maintaining control at extreme speeds. The scene is a masterclass in tension, combining aerial shots, close-ups of driver reactions, and CG elements that enhance the danger without breaking immersion. Another remarkable moment features a multi-level heist with simultaneous confrontations, explosions, and tactical maneuvers. These sequences are not mere spectacle, they are tightly integrated into the plot, revealing character traits and advancing storylines while keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. The choreography of both vehicular and hand-to-hand combat is meticulously planned, ensuring that each movement, stunt, and collision contributes to the narrative rhythm. Character arcs continue to be a central focus, even amid the film's action-driven framework. Dom's journey reflects the tension between heroism and vulnerability, demonstrating that even a seasoned leader must confront personal limitations and moral dilemmas. Letty serves as both partner and moral anchor, challenging Dom while providing unwavering support. Roman and Tej contribute levity and creativity, but their moments of ingenuity also reflect the depth of their loyalty and courage. Dante's arc, while primarily antagonistic, explores themes of grief, revenge, and obsession, creating a compelling foil to Dom's protective instincts. The interplay between hero and villain, combined with the ensemble cast's interwoven relationships, creates a dynamic that is both thrilling and emotionally resonant. The production of Fast X required an extraordinary level of coordination and technical expertise. Coordinating international shoots across multiple countries demanded careful scheduling, logistical planning, and collaboration with local authorities and film crews. Each location presented unique challenges, from navigating the historic streets of Rome to managing high-speed sequences on remote Portuguese highways. Stunt coordinators worked closely with cinematographers, special effects teams, and the actors themselves to ensure that sequences were executed safely while retaining maximum cinematic impact. The filmmakers also incorporated cutting-edge camera technology, including drones, high-speed rigs, and aerial platforms, to capture perspectives that amplify both scale and immersion. This technical mastery allows the audience to experience the film as an intense, lived-in world, rather than a collection of isolated action scenes. The sound design of Fast X is equally integral to its immersive quality. Engine sounds, tire squeals, and environmental audio cues are carefully layered to create a realistic and thrilling auditory experience. Explosions and collisions are mixed to feel both impactful and grounded, while dialogue and musical cues are balanced to ensure narrative clarity. Brian Tyler's musical score underscores the tension and emotional stakes of the narrative, alternating between high-energy motifs for action sequences and more contemplative themes during character-driven moments. This synergy of sound and score ensures that the audience is not only visually but also auditorily engaged, amplifying the overall cinematic experience. Narrative themes in Fast X extend beyond action and adventure, exploring loyalty, legacy, and the moral consequences of one's choices. The film challenges characters to confront the outcomes of their past decisions, highlighting the interplay between personal responsibility and collective accountability. Dom's protective instincts are tested repeatedly, revealing the vulnerabilities inherent in leadership and the heavy burden of caring for a family that extends beyond blood relations. Dante's revenge-driven quest forces the audience to grapple with questions of morality, justice, and empathy, emphasizing that villains are often products of their circumstances as much as their choices. By weaving these thematic elements into the high-stakes narrative, Fast X achieves a narrative depth that elevates it above conventional action films. A detailed study of the characters in Fast X reveals the depth and complexity that underpin the franchise's enduring appeal. Dominic Toretto, portrayed by Vin Diesel, continues to embody the duality of brute strength and emotional vulnerability. Dom is not simply a hero defined by physical prowess, he is a character whose decisions are guided by a moral compass centered on loyalty and protection of his family. His character arc in this installment emphasizes the increasing complexity of leadership as the stakes escalate. Faced with a meticulously strategizing antagonist in Dante Reyes, Dom must navigate not only physical confrontations but also ethical dilemmas that challenge his principles. His relationship with his son, Little B, underscores generational responsibility, highlighting themes of mentorship, legacy, and the transmission of values. Letty Ortiz, portrayed by Michelle Rodriguez, continues to evolve as both Dom's equal and a central pillar of the team. Letty's character arc is characterized by resilience, intuition, and strategic thinking, reflecting a balance between emotional insight and physical capability. In sequences involving high-risk stunts, Letty often serves as both leader and tactician, demonstrating that the franchise's female characters are integral to the narrative rather than supplementary. Her interactions with Dom reveal a nuanced dynamic of partnership, respect, and mutual reliance, reinforcing the film's broader exploration of loyalty and family. Roman Pierce, portrayed by Tyrese Gibson, provides a multifaceted role that extends beyond comic relief. In Fast X, Roman demonstrates growth in both courage and strategic thinking. While humor remains a defining characteristic, it is coupled with moments of tactical brilliance, particularly in vehicular sequences where his ingenuity contributes directly to the team's survival. Similarly, Tej Parker, portrayed by Ludacris, continues to evolve from a technologically skilled side character into a key operational strategist. Tej's mastery of surveillance, hacking, and tactical planning enhances the narrative sophistication, reflecting the franchise's shift toward integrating contemporary technological threats into its action-driven plots. Dante Reyes, portrayed by Jason Momoa, represents one of the most complex antagonists in the series. Unlike previous villains whose motivations often centered on greed or power, Dante's actions are rooted in personal vendetta and familial legacy. Momoa's portrayal combines charisma with intensity, presenting a villain whose emotional depth renders him both threatening and sympathetic. Dante's strategic brilliance, coupled with physical dominance, challenges Dom's team on multiple levels, forcing them to confront vulnerabilities they have not faced before. The antagonist's narrative function extends beyond conflict. It catalyzes exploration of ethical questions about vengeance, justice, and the cyclical nature of violence, thereby deepening the thematic resonance of the film. Cypher, portrayed by Charlize Theron, continues her role as a morally ambiguous antagonist whose manipulation extends beyond physical confrontations into psychological warfare. Her expertise in technology, espionage, and strategic planning introduces elements of unpredictability, compelling the crew to adapt and respond in innovative ways. Cypher's presence reinforces the franchise's ongoing exploration of trust, loyalty, and the ethical complexities inherent in high-stakes confrontations. New characters introduced in this installment, including those portrayed by Brie Larson, Daniela Melchior, Helen Mirren, and Rita Moreno, further expand the narrative universe. Each character contributes unique skills, perspectives, and narrative functions, enriching the ensemble and providing opportunities for thematic exploration. These additions reflect the filmmaker's intent to balance continuity with innovation, ensuring that the franchise remains dynamic and engaging. The cultural impact of Fast X is significant, reflecting its resonance with global audiences and its integration into popular media discourse. The film's emphasis on family, loyalty, and perseverance transcends geographic boundaries, enabling diverse audiences to connect with the narrative. Additionally, the franchise's focus on action, spectacle, and innovative stunt work has influenced contemporary cinema, setting benchmarks for practical effects, international location filming, and ensemble storytelling. Social media platforms, fan forums, and digital communities have amplified the cultural presence of Fast X, fostering engagement through discussions, fan theories, and creative content such as fan art, cosplay, and video tributes. The franchise's ability to cultivate a participatory fan culture enhances its relevance and ensures sustained interest across multiple demographics. Merchandising associated with Fast X is extensive and strategically integrated with the film's narrative and aesthetic. Collectible die-cast cars replicating vehicles from the movie, including those used in high-profile stunts, have been highly sought after, often featuring intricate modifications that mirror on-screen action. Apparel and accessories, including branded clothing, footwear, and lifestyle products, leverage the franchise's iconic symbols and character imagery. Additionally, digital engagement platforms, interactive experiences, and augmented reality applications provide immersive ways for audiences to explore the franchise universe beyond the theater. These merchandising efforts not only reinforce the cultural presence of Fast X but also create avenues for fan engagement, community building, and brand loyalty. The legacy of Fast X is multifaceted, encompassing its contributions to cinematic technique, narrative innovation, and franchise evolution. The film demonstrates that long-running series can sustain audience interest by integrating spectacle with meaningful character arcs, ethical dilemmas, and thematic continuity. Practical stunt work, advanced cinematography, and global location filming set benchmarks for contemporary action cinema, influencing both peers and emerging filmmakers. Furthermore, the film's ability to connect past, present, and future installments reinforces the importance of narrative cohesion in franchise storytelling. The unresolved cliffhanger, designed to set up Fast X, Part 2, exemplifies strategic narrative planning, ensuring that the audience remains invested in character trajectories and overarching storylines. Fan engagement has played a pivotal role in shaping the film's reception and cultural impact. Online communities actively dissect plot points, analyze character motivations, and speculate on future developments, reflecting the franchise's ability to inspire intellectual and emotional investment. Social media campaigns, interactive experiences, and community-driven content enhance the participatory nature of fan interaction, enabling audiences to become active contributors to the franchise's ongoing narrative discourse. These dynamics extend the life of the film beyond its theatrical release, ensuring sustained engagement and cultural relevance. Fast X's legacy within the Fast and Furious franchise is both immediate and long-term, reflecting the film's ambition to balance continuity with innovation. The film builds on decades of storytelling, incorporating characters, locations, and plot threads from previous installments while simultaneously pushing the franchise into new narrative and technical territory. Fans and critics alike recognize that Fast X is more than an action film. It is a culmination of thematic arcs, character development, and narrative threads that have been building for over 20 years. Its narrative design allows for both accessibility for new viewers and rewards for longtime fans who understand the intricate history of the Toretto family, the evolution of Dom's team, and the consequences of past conflicts. This dual focus strengthens the film's cultural resonance, ensuring its place as a milestone in the franchise's trajectory. Audience reception of Fast X has been overwhelmingly positive, particularly among fans who appreciate the careful integration of franchise lore with new narrative developments. The return of beloved characters, including Han, Deckard Shaw, and Letty, provides continuity and emotional grounding, while the introduction of Dante Reyes adds a fresh and compelling layer of conflict. Fans have praised the film's action sequences for their ingenuity, scale, and execution, noting that the blend of practical stunts and digital augmentation creates a uniquely immersive experience. The inclusion of emotionally resonant stakes, particularly the threat to Dom's son, has been highlighted as a narrative strength, deepening the audience's engagement beyond spectacle. Social media platforms, fan forums, and critical reviews reflect this enthusiasm, with discussions often centering on favorite sequences, character interactions, and predictions for the upcoming Fast X, Part 2. Comparisons to prior franchise films illustrate Fast X's evolution in scope, scale, and thematic ambition. Whereas early films focused primarily on street racing, underground culture, and personal rivalries, Fast X expands the narrative into a global arena, emphasizing geopolitical stakes, high-consequence heists, and elaborate revenge schemes. The franchise's signature focus on family remains central but is enriched through increasingly complex emotional stakes, particularly as the Toretto family extends across multiple generations and contends with external threats from a deeply personal antagonist. The film also demonstrates the franchise's commitment to evolving action set pieces. High-speed chases are no longer confined to streets but traverse multiple terrains, including urban landscapes, treacherous natural environments, and even icy Antarctic expanses. This expansion of physical and narrative geography highlights the franchise's continuous growth while maintaining its core identity. Thematically, Fast X continues the franchise's exploration of loyalty, sacrifice, and consequence, but elevates these concepts through nuanced character interactions and high-stakes moral dilemmas. Dom's leadership is tested against both physical threats and ethical challenges, as he navigates the tension between protecting his family and confronting a methodical and intelligent adversary. Letty's unwavering support and tactical acumen emphasize the importance of partnership, moral clarity, and collaborative problem-solving. Roman and Tej's complementary skills showcase the significance of trust, improvisation, and ingenuity in overcoming obstacles. The inclusion of Jacob Toretto introduces a sibling dimension that explores rivalry, forgiveness, and reconciliation, highlighting the moral and emotional complexity that has become increasingly central to the franchise. Dante Reyes, as an antagonist motivated by deeply personal revenge, challenges the team not only physically but psychologically, forcing characters to confront fears, regrets, and moral boundaries. This focus on the interplay between personal stakes and global consequences underscores the franchise's long-term commitment to blending action with substantive narrative and thematic resonance. The setup for Fast X, Part 2 is a critical element of the film's narrative design. While the resolution of Dante Reyes' immediate schemes is achieved, the broader narrative arc remains open, with unresolved conflicts, cliffhangers, and narrative threads designed to sustain audience anticipation. The sequel promises to address the remaining threats to the Toretto family, resolve unresolved character arcs, and deliver a climactic conclusion to the overarching story that has spanned more than 2 decades. This careful orchestration of narrative continuity demonstrates the franchise's strategic approach to long-form storytelling, in which each installment contributes meaningfully to a larger, coherent narrative while also functioning as a standalone cinematic experience. The anticipation for Part 2 has been heightened by the unresolved threats, complex character dynamics, and global stakes established in Fast X, ensuring that the audience remains invested in both the characters and the narrative universe. The cultural impact of Fast X extends beyond the immediate fanbase. Its global release strategy, diverse cast, and international locations reflect a recognition of the franchise's worldwide appeal and the increasingly interconnected nature of modern cinema. The integration of multiple languages, cultural references, and geographically diverse settings demonstrates a commitment to inclusivity and accessibility while also creating opportunities for visually and narratively rich storytelling. The film's depiction of diverse characters in positions of influence, leadership, and tactical skill reinforces contemporary values of representation and agency, highlighting the franchise's awareness of social and cultural trends. This global engagement ensures that Fast X resonates across demographics, geographies, and generations, cementing its position as a major cinematic event. The technological and cinematic achievements of Fast X further contribute to its legacy. Stunt coordination, vehicle design, practical effects, and digital augmentation reflect the intersection of creativity, engineering, and cinematic vision. Vehicles, as extensions of character identity, are meticulously customized to align with narrative and thematic intentions. Stunt sequences are executed with precision, safety, and narrative purpose, blending physical risk, choreography, and cinematic flair. Digital effects enhance rather than replace practical work, ensuring authenticity while amplifying spectacle. Cinematography emphasizes dynamic motion, immersive perspectives, and environmental interaction, reinforcing narrative clarity while providing visual excitement. Combined with Brian Tyler's musical score, these elements create a multisensory experience that reinforces the narrative, emotional stakes, and thematic resonance. Box office performance and commercial reception solidify Fast X's significance within contemporary blockbuster cinema. With worldwide gross exceeding $700 million against an estimated budget of $340 to $378 million, the film demonstrates the enduring commercial viability of the franchise. Strong international performance underscores the effectiveness of global marketing strategies and the resonance of a narrative that blends high-stakes action with emotional and familial themes. Ancillary revenue, including merchandise, digital distribution, and streaming rights, contributes to the film's profitability, reflecting the multifaceted nature of modern media economics. These financial successes reinforce the franchise's position as a dominant player in global entertainment, capable of delivering both narrative satisfaction and commercial return. Finally, Fast X's legacy is defined by its ability to synthesize spectacle, emotional depth, and narrative complexity. It demonstrates that blockbuster cinema can simultaneously entertain, engage, and resonate, offering audiences high-octane thrills while exploring themes of family, loyalty, and moral consequence. By carefully balancing returning characters with new additions, maintaining continuity with prior events, and expanding narrative and geographic scope, the film positions itself as both a continuation of a beloved franchise and a benchmark for contemporary action storytelling. Its influence is likely to extend into subsequent installments, shaping audience expectations and narrative strategies for future blockbuster cinema. As a prelude to Fast X, Part 2, the film establishes the thematic, emotional, and narrative foundation upon which the franchise's ultimate resolution will be built, ensuring both anticipation and engagement for audiences around the world.